Hey everyone, it is Desiree, and I am here with another Simplicity card video. So this is going to be part of the Simplicity series. So again, we're just focusing on pattern paper. What can we do with the pattern paper? Now, it doesn't have to be pattern paper. It can be solid cardstock. You know, whatever it is you have, and only using a sentiment stamp set. So not getting crazy with stamped images and how we should color them and what should we use to color them, but simply using our papers in different ways, and then using, if they already have a sentiment, or just adding a sentiment. So very minimal supplies. So what I'm going to show here is I'm going to use this this pack here. It was literally in front of me. It was sitting on my table. It's what I saw, and I'm like, you know what? Let's use it. And this is by Memory Box. It's a 6x6, 24 sheet paper pad. So everything is designed to work together. So if you put this yellow, it's going to go with that purple. If you take these butterflies, it's going to go with those. Excuse me. That's how paper pads are really designed. It's like if you were a sewer. I used to quilt. I used to make quilts. At the bottom strip of a piece of fabric was the salvage edge. And on that salvage edge, it would have all of the colors that was in that material. And then if it was a set, you know, a release, all of those materials would go together. But you could use those dots to show these are the colors you can go into. These are built the same way. You have a paper pad, and all of these papers go together. Even though they don't look like they would, they are designed for this. That's why sometimes, like even the solids, or the simple designs like the polka dots or the stripes, all of those colors technically will go together because they're in the same color family area. So all pastels, all brights, all regals, and whatever other names you want to use, heathers, and all of that. They're the same tones. So that's what we're looking at when it comes to a pattern paper. So what I did, now what I'm also going to show is, so I've already got some papers cut down. I did use a paper trimmer because that is one thing that you should have to make it easy. So these are the two colors that I've chosen here. I've chosen these two to go together, and I've chosen these two to go together. Now I can interchange. I can put this one with that if I want, and I can put that one with this one, or I could just bring that down there and I can pull that one here. You can see they all go together. It doesn't matter which way you go with that. I still want to go that way. And again, your eyes will tell you. At least mine do. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a ruler and a craft knife, and I'm going to cut the center out of this background. So again, maybe you are not a paper hoarder. I commend you if you're not. So this piece here is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this piece here is cut 4 by 5 1/4. So you can see I'm using the pattern paper to create the mat. But again, in a paper pad, you only get so many of those papers. You may get 2 of the same papers. You may get 3. It all depends, honestly, sometimes. So, but what I'm going to do is I am going to cut the center out. So I know what my border is. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to use a metal ruler, and I'm going to use my craft knife, and I'm just going to cut the center out. I'm going to try to keep it straight. I love these things, but you know what? That's kind of where I put my finger. I'm just saying. Just saying. And I'm going to come, see? All right, let's try it again. So I'm going to go down here. And then I'm going to make the last cut. Again, trying to keep them straight. All right. Now, and I'm going to use this. So how you can get a lot out of each of your pattern papers. So I now know I can use that. Now this is going to stay the size that it is. So now what I'm going to do that same thing to each of these because they are cut the same. The patterns, this and this, are cut 4 by 5 1/4. These backgrounds are cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I am going to cut out the centers on these as well. So instead of you painstakingly watching me do that, I will be right back. Okay, so now we are back. Now I'm sure somebody's going to ask, why did I pull this little tiny mat in when I have a cutting mat underneath? Honestly, I do not like to cut in the mats that I'm showing in my videos as the base, because then you would see all of the cut lines. So I don't cut into these. Just a case. Somebody once asked that. So, okay. So I have these mats ready to go. But now I have these. So when it comes to my sentiments, now again, you don't have to use a metal ruler. I would highly recommend it though. I'm just saying. You can, you don't, I mean, again, I'm not measuring, I just eyeballed this. This doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that you have a border going on around here that will be enough to go around with what you're doing here. Okay? So what we're doing is I'm creating, you know, these different levels, so to speak. These different areas that can be built upon and crossed over. So the next thing is I just have some sentiments here. Now my sentiments are coming from the All-to-New Crafty Friends stamp set. I just love some of these sentiments that are in here. I mean, some of them are very inspiring. Some of them are just funny. They're just great. So the three that I chose are Make a Beautiful Mess Today. And that could be anything. Just make it a beautiful mess. I'm using You Do Not Make Mistakes. Just add new design elements to your project. Exactly. We do not make mistakes. They are happy accidents that take our projects to the next level. Nothing is perfect. You'll see a project that I'm doing and the quote is, embrace imperfection. And I just love that. And that is very true. And then this one, do something creative every day. Because we should. And it doesn't have to be this. It can be anything. So just have fun with it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use my liquid adhesive and I'm going to get these pieces onto their frames. So for these, I'm just going to put glue on the edge. And I'm going to get those set down and even into these frames. All right, so that's one. Oh, and look, it makes something cute on the other side. Okay. It's because they're double-sided papers. All right, and I'm going to do that with the next one. And I think I'm going to put the paper on here because I think it's going to be easier for me. And I'm going to place my piece down, making sure it's centered. What does that one look like? Okay, cute. And then one more here. And I'm dropping everything. This is fun. And now we will set this one down and make sure we are close to center. Oh, that one's cute too. Okay, so now we have that. So now what I want to do is I want to use the papers that I have here, but I want to crisscross them. So now I want to say, okay, you know what? I want this one to go here. I want this one to come here, and I want that one to come here. And what I'm going to do is create a mat when it comes to my sentiments. Now, when it comes to these sentiments, I used my paper trimmer to cut them out. So what I'm going to do is just create I'm going to put them down and create borders. So again, the beautiful thing, or the thing that I do love when it comes to just using paper, are all the wonderful mats that you can create. I love the mat element. Okay, now I just need to know where this is. Ah, there we go. Wow. And I'm just going to put this one in the center of that. And I think I got, yep. And then the same thing for this one if it's big enough, and it is. All right, so this, I want that to sit right in the center of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is use my scissors to trim these. And I am going to use my long blade scissors. And then one more. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my long blades and I'm going to cut these out, keeping the same border of what it is on each side. Again, you can use your paper trimmer, but you know what? Just having your long shears will actually be able to cut them in 1 to 2 swipes. Remember, nothing has to be perfect. We enjoy the process. We have fun with the process. And I'm actually just using the elements that are on the cardstock to provide those differences. Okay, so something, again, now you could even have more fun. I mean, you could create, use more of your ivory, use these as mats and put these throughout it. But I think these are absolutely perfect. And I'm just going to set these around. I am going to use my double-sided foam squares, again, just to add dimension. Now again, you can use cardstock for this, or anything that you want. You don't have to use your double-sided foam tape. You can just use your glue just to put these down. And I am going to put that right there. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Looking for, I knew I had another pack here that I opened. And again, let the pattern paper, it's something that I've always said, let your pattern paper do the work for you. I am going to put this just a little bit up from the bottom. And then this one, same thing. Your pattern paper can do a lot. It's already got the designs, it's already got the interest, but just by adding a mat and your liquid adhesive or double-sided foam tapes or, you know, layers of cardstock, you know, again, you can put a lot of things into it. I'm actually going to put this one towards the bottom again. I always do lean towards the bottom, but I'm going to take that to the right. So here we have 3 cards. I'm going to get my standard A2 size card bases, and I'm just going to glue these directly on. So by cutting out your center, it is a way for you to get more use out of the cardstock that's in the pattern paper pack so that you can do more things with it. That's the first one. I mean, and you could honestly keep doing that. Like if I was going to use, you know, put something square on top of this one, you could have cut that center out as well. So it's just a way to stretch out your supplies, get more out of them, to keep your designs simple. You know, again, there is a lot in this industry when it comes to paper crafting. There's a lot of things that are out there. You do not need everything. You know, and a lot of people say, well, you know, you seem to, and well, okay, don't do what I do. Do what makes you happy. Just by getting some pattern paper and cutting it into different shapes, you can make very simple and elegant looking cards. Very simplistic, very easy to make, and just a simple way to stretch your supplies. Okay, so I do hope you enjoyed this really quick snippet within the Simplicity series, and there will be more to come. We're going to get into some interactive cards very soon, so stay tuned for those. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave those down below, and I will get back to your questions as soon as I can. And again, this paper pad, again, is from Memory Box. I'll have it linked below if you want to check it out, just to see what else is in that paper pad as well. I do hope everyone is enjoying their day. Continue to stay safe and healthy. And by all means, remember what is most important for me. And always be creative. Till next time, guys.